Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be looking at the vegetarian pizza oven by Eat & Tweet's very own Joe Anderson. I've popped a couple of links in the description that'll take you through to Amazon for that. So we're going to be making this fabulous margarita. Here's a picture of what we actually ended up making. And we're going to be also making this pineapple, jalapeno and barbecue sauce. And that's a picture of what we ended up with. So just turning through the pages. This is the double fermented pizza dough that we're making. There's a margarita. And here's some barbecue sauce. Check our channel for a barbecue sauce recipe. And here's the barbecue pizza. So what do we need? 300 grams of water. Then we need 3 grams of yeast. Just measure that out. And then we're going to be using the Caputo Pizzeria. And we need 300 grams of that. Just measure that out. Measuring out, just being really careful there. Just make sure we get spot on 300. And then we need to add the yeast to the water and give it a really good mix. Just make sure it all dissolves in. So adding the yeast to the water, just make sure that it's actually activated. And you can tell that because you get a few bubbles on the top just before you finish stirring it. So it's always good to check that it's working before you do that. Then we're going to gradually add in the flour. And continue to mix until it's all smooth. So 300 grams of flour for 300 grams of water. So as you can appreciate, it's going to be more like a batter when we're finished. So just stirring that in. Keep stirring. It's dead easy to do this bit. And then, as you can see, it's starting to come into that batter-like consistency. Just going to pop in that last little bit now. In it goes. Just keep stirring around. Making sure we get all the lumps out. So there we are, we're just coming now to the end. It's all nice and smooth. So take the fork out, just give my hands a wipe. And now we'll have a look at it. So there you go, you can see, very runny, very much like a batter. Next up, cover it with the shower cap. And then we need to pop it in the fridge for 24 hours. There you go, look inside, and there is a Sheffield Wednesday beer. My favourite football team. Up the Owls, guys. So the next day, we need to add 3 grams of salt, and we also need to add 3 grams of yeast. Just making sure we get that really precise. There we go, 3 grams there. And then we need 300 grams of water adding out, and this is just slightly lukewarm water. And we also need 450 grams of the Caputo Pizzeria flour. We just need to measure that out just like that. So just making sure that we've got it all precise. And then we need 200 grams of semolina flour. And just making sure that that's all weighed out nicely. Time to go and get the dough mix out of the fridge, and then we'll start to add those ingredients to the dough that we've already got. So take that out of the refrigerator and take the cap off. Let's just have a quick look what it's been doing overnight, and as you can see, a bit more lively, a few more bubbles in there. Looks fantastic. So the yeast has been working away quite nicely in the fridge overnight. Brilliant stuff. So pop the yeast into the water. Let's just make sure that yeast is activated and working. And then tip that in to the dough. Just give that a little bit of a mix round, just to make sure that it's all incorporated in there. And then we'll start to gradually add in the rest of the flour that we've got in there, that flour mix. So we'll continue to mix that together. And it just makes sure that when we come to mixing, as always, and kneading, that we don't have as many flour lumps in there. If we can use as much as possible, then we don't have to worry about getting rid of the flour lumps when we are kneading with our hands. So that's just coming in together really nicely now. And as you can see, it's really becoming thick, and it's absorbed all the water that we put in there. So basically in total 600 grams we're putting in total. So let's now start to put in the rest of the flour and let's have a mix with his hands. So just taking that out onto the work surface. I'm going to use a little bit of the excess flour just to clean out the bowl. Get that bowl nice, and look at that, it's nice and clean. So all the mix is on the work surface now. And we will now start to incorporate all the flour by mixing and kneading it all together. So ever since I've been making pizza, it always looks at this stage like it's not going to take any more of the flour and you're going to end up with a big floury messy dough ball. But it's all about making sure that you're persistent. Keep mixing and kneading with your hands, pushing the dough right into the work surface, and it will pick up all that flour. It really, really will. It's just about being very, very patient with it and just using a bit of force to get it all in there. But as you can see on this, it's taking it, and we're having no issues bringing it all back into the mix, making sure we get every bit of that flour into the dough ball that we've got there. So with it being Caputo, it's a fantastic flour. It's got plenty of gluten in there, plenty of protein to make the gluten. So as you see, look, just wiping the dough ball around now, we've got all that flour, it's all in. And now it's just a case of just making sure we're kneading the dough so we can build up that gluten and that strength. So now I need to add in that 3 grams of salt, and like I've done before, I shall now fold that over and we'll add the rest of the salt in, and that just makes sure that it's as evenly distributed through the dough as it possibly can be. So need to continue to knead for about 5 more minutes. So whilst we're doing that, just a quick thank you to every single person who's subscribed. We're just up to about 700 now. Thank you ever so much for your support. And one thing that we're also looking at, I did do a post a few days ago regarding the next edition of our videos, which is coming up in December. If you've got a Christmas special that you'd like us to do, if you've got a shout out, a particular pizza you'd like us to do, please leave a comment and we will do them in the next video. So the dough's nicely coming together now. It was starting to get a bit sticky at this point, so I always find now that just lifting it off the work surface and just giving it, well, a gentle tap on the work surface is always worth doing. It does create that bit of a skin and makes it a bit drier on the outside and a bit easier to work. So I did give it a couple of slaps onto the work surface, as you can see, and that tip really, really does work, especially if you're starting to get it stuck to your hands. So there we go, just now forming it into a ball, and what we're going to do here is we're going to put it in for another 24 hours. But with Joe's recipe, you can just let it rest for a little bit longer and then you can start to make it into the pizza balls. But I'm trying to get that extra flavour into the dough, so we're going to go a bit more adventurous and we're going to put it in the fridge for another 24 hours before we make it into the pizza balls. So cover that up with the shower cap again, and it's back into the fridge for a further 24 hours. So after 24 hours, we need to take it out of the fridge. We need to make sure we're taking it out plenty in advance, so I always recommend about 5 hours to bring it back up to room temperature. So this is back up to room temperature now, and we're going to have a look to see how strong and how much elasticity is in that dough. And as you can see, you got a good handful there, pulling it right up. So again, we know that this is going to be good. We know we're going to be able to make some good pizza bases out of that, and it's not going to be breaking or tearing. So we're going to make 6 230 gram pizza balls. That'll make some nice 10-inch pizzas. So just weighing them out, just popping a little bit of the semolina flour on there, just stops it sticking. And of course, the next thing we'll do is we'll pop it into the round pizza boxes. They're available from Poundland. They're absolutely fantastic. They really, really are. So that's before, and now we'll need to leave them about 4 hours. And that's after 4 hours. Look at that, looking fantastic. So come on, join our Facebook group, the OMSGA Pizza Making Group. It's on Facebook. We're going to be sharing lots of pizza ideas together. Please join us. Lots of conversation that takes place on there. So please hop across onto Facebook and join the group. You're all welcome. So before we make the pizza, there's the ingredients that we've got for our pizzas. And now, of course, it's pizza time. So let's get the first dough ball out of the box. And we're making the margherita on this one. So comes out pretty easy out of the box. There we go. And we'll put that onto the semolina flour. And we'll just give it a bit of a roll around in there. And this is our new camera angle. Let me know if you like it. So just spraying out the base now. And again, it was nice and easy to work with. Stretches really nicely, and it's all about making sure it comes back up to room temperature if you had it in the fridge, and give it plenty of time in those pizza boxes to make sure it gets that extra proof and becomes really soft. If you do that, you'll not have any trouble with it recoiling back, and it'll stretch out a lot more easily. So there we go. Now we're going to put on the Mutti tomato sauce. There we go. Putting that on. This is fantastic sauce. Really impressed with it. Much better than my own efforts, let's put it that way. So on with some cheese. Nice and easy. And then onto the pizza shovel. Bit of a reshape. And then it's time to take it to the oven. So the pizza oven temperature is 400 degrees. So a good temperature to have. You're not going to end up with a burnt base underneath with 400 degrees. If you go to 500, sometimes it can be a bit too lively, especially in this type of pizza oven. So just warming up the pizza peel. There we go. And it's ready for its first turn. So we have speeded this one up because we're doing 2 pizzas, and it'll make an incredibly long video if we played this one in real time, unfortunately. But it's not edited out. It's there's no editing at all on this. But yes, it is speeded up. So just watching that now cook, and the smells from it were absolutely fantastic. Just giving it another turn. And I've seen a comment about keeping pizzas simple. I do agree on this particular one with margherita. You know, you can't beat it, can you, sometimes? Simple the better. Just giving it a couple of turns, and then there we go. That's it out. So onto the chopping board. Look at that, it looks absolutely fantastic. So let's open it up, let's have a look. Really nice. So using that pizza cutter to cut it up. Lovely and crispy, this pizza. Let's open it up, we'll show you the crust inside. Just got a couple of more cuts to do. Not doing a very good job of that cutting. But look at that inside. This tasted fantastic. The dough recipe is really good. Really good. So well done, Joe. Really good recipe to follow. So that is the pizza margherita from the vegetarian pizza oven. Right, on to this taste sensation, the barbecue pineapple and jalapeno pizza. So let's get that dough ball out of the box and onto the new camera angle again. So we'll start to push out the pizza base. And again, it's really nice recipe to follow, and it made some nice dough, easy to work with. Not a ridiculously high hydration, so nice and straightforward to work with, this one. So just clear off that excess, and we'll start to stretch it back out again now. So again, as you can see, no real issues with it springing back or anything like that. It's just a case of just making sure that you're getting it as round as you can. So for a barbecue sauce recipe, check the description. It's made by Oliver, and it's an absolutely fantastic barbecue sauce. Sweet, smoky and spicy. So we'll put some jalapenos on, and then we're going to put some of the pineapple on. Controversial move maybe. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. And we'll start to put some cheese on as well. Make sure we've got plenty of that on. And then we'll shovel it and just a bit of reshape. And then into the oven. Again, the oven is 400 degrees, nothing's changed, exactly the same as it was. The only thing here is we've speeded up the time again for the pizza cooking, so this is not done in real time. But this pizza, if you got a vegetarian in your party or in your family, this is a really nice pizza that's sweet but yet really savoury, and I think it's lifted by that barbecue sauce as well. So just giving it a turn now, and it's really starting to come together. Just got to be careful with the barbecue sauce a little bit that doesn't burn. It has got sugar in it. But again, look at that, absolutely fantastic. So let's open that one up. Now, one thing I did notice with this one is it was a little bit wet, probably to do with the pineapple and maybe the sauce as well. But by jingo, it was very, very tasty. There's the inside of the crust. Again, all down to that pizza recipe. So that is the pineapple jalapeno barbecue. Don't forget to subscribe. Finally, thanks to Joe for a copy of the book. The links to the book are in the description. Bye for now.